Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Nova Covert Ops Starcraft 2 on Rocket Rabbit Commentaries. And in this episode, we'll be continuing on with the next mission, Enemy Intelligence.
This is what's left of it.
Yes, we have made ourselves. We have returned to Tarsonis.
The defenders of man are entrenched below these ruins.
Heh, that's a familiar location in the Starcraft lore and universe.
It is.
I'm beginning to understand why Valerian didn't want to do this himself.
Yeah, because not only is there a bunch of Zerg on the surface, but the Defenders of Man are buried underneath, attempting to do espionage stuff.
See, Valerian is what you call a trigonophobe. He's afraid of triangles, and there are a lot of triangles on this radar. Enough to put the fear of God that if you don't extend a quadrilateral, you may find your perimeter a solely diameter.
Alright, so some of the new equipment that we got was the Rangefinder Oculus, which increases Nova's combat range, which is why we have equipped it. And then we have one of the more unique gimmicks of Nova Covert Ops is the ability to get equipment throughout our optional objectives and equip them onto our already elite forces, which will, make them slightly better. I have some very specific ones that I recommend for pretty much any one of the units that we have. I do recommend for this mission specifically having the attached tech lab onto the Marauder, simply because having it will make one of the objectives a tad easier. But I also recommend having the jump jets on the siege tank, specifically so that you can have an elevated position for the siege tank that you start with, because you start with a siege tank in this mission, Mr. Cloud.
And you can jump that siege tank to a higher ground and gain vision.
Not only vision, but a better defensible position.
Vision. I have the higher ground.
For the record, you won't need to actually build any bunkers for this mission, because we effectively start with one, because we've got Nova, and Nova can effectively clear out most enemy forces on her own very quickly. Although what we're going to be doing with Nova is actually stretching her out onto the field in order to do forward scouting and attempt to actually capture objectives slightly faster. This mission is only supposed to take us 15 minutes, but because I don't actually play it all that well, it ends up taking us 2 full parts. Sadly. Thankfully, we already have a base that has more minerals than last time. Ha-ha!
In the city. Whoa. Cool spaceship. I can almost get to see close enough to view all those details that the cutscene had showed me.
Alright. As annotation brings out here, yeah, I do recommend building exactly one additional siege tank for this mission, and just setting them up effectively on the other side of this lane. That particular lane is fully defended.
There's an infestation.
The gimmick that we have to do in this mission specifically is there are a bunch of garrisons that we have to liberate and supply with units across the map. Once we have successfully supplied all the garrisons with units, we will then be able to take Nova into the actual area where she needs to go. But until we actually get all the garrisons liberated, we have to do a little bit of macro.
Okay, the infestation's gone. We're ready to get them.
Somebody call the exterminator.
I'm reading you.
Actually, Nova does have the. I want to say that Nova can. I'm not actually sure. Come to think of it, I don't think Nova ever gets the ability to train ghosts. Huh.
And here I thought I was being quiet.
The only ghost you need, baby.
Confirm that last.
So yeah, a lot of this mission is us using Nova to slowly push into these positions, and then specifically, well, using Nova's slow pushing abilities to clear out the garrisons in order to start actually trying to man them with the units that they need. You need, I believe it's 12 Marines, 6 Reapers and 6 Marauders, I think, in order to fully garrison everything.
Ancillary and superfluous, I say. Use hero units as much as you can. Her health automatically regenerates.
Yeah, that's not. Although that's definitely true, her auto regen isn't the real reason why she's on the front lines. She's on the front lines because with the rangefinder Oculus and her normal suit, she's permanently cloaked. So we can just slowly push. Use her advantages in order to, deal with the entrenched forces that are here, without having to deal with much of anything.
Now I'm reminded of Oblivion, where if you have perfect invisibility by achieving 100% chameleon, then the enemies are just standing around and taking the hits. Like they don't respond normally because they can't detect you.
Yeah.
Kind of weird, honestly. Like, this is everything I could have asked for from my game.
You see, I never actually got to 100%. I never actually tried to get to 100% chameleon in Oblivion, mostly because the one playthrough that I had for Oblivion, I decided to just rush through and do a level 4 campaign clear.
It's really not all that's cracked up to be. Okay, you basically like rock and roll for the rest of the campaign. You can't take damage. You can't get attacked. You can't get detected, so you'll always get sneak attack bonus. But the game gets quite boring at that point, like to the point that you want to take it off just so it feels like a game again.
Nova.
Yeah, I understand that feeling. It's one of the smaller things that actually happens in it's one of the smaller things that happens in action RPGs. When you actually end up having a far too high of either gear level or raw character experience to pose a threat in any of the areas that you go back to for stuff.
Exactly. To keep the difficulty modulated.
Say again?
We use Nova's nuke ability. Every mission from here on out, we will get one free nuke, and then we can purchase additional nukes by building a Ghost Academy. I will not be abusing nukes in this game, but there are a couple of targets in the mid game that are very specifically that are much more affected by nukes than they're probably supposed to be.
Use your specials. Just have to wait for cooldown.
Engaging the enemy.
Also, that I totally saw and dug that the tower fell in order to become a ramp down to where the Zerg were. Very
Yay!
clever.
Our
use
Reapers
of
have
game.
successfully made it into the first garrison.
Garrison is good to go. Should help us hold off these Zerg. Say again? Consider it done.
Pop.
So the reason why they can actually see us right now is because we're actually in sight range of the of that infested missile turret.
Go on. It's go time.
We'll send in the boys because they're not afraid of getting caught.
And
We
in
need
just a moment, we will successfully have the second garrison fully filled. There we go.
Another garrison is full. Nicely
Nice.
done.
Alright, so the next thing, the next stuff that we need to do specifically is Marines. Yeah, we need 6 Marines in the one that Nova's currently at, 6 Marines in the one that's to the one that's to the dead east of us, and I forget what we need in the last one. It might actually be 18 Marines that you need.
Loud and clear.
Nova, I've been tracking...
So you attack each of these zones one at a time. You fill in the listed
Survivors?
prerequisite number of units according to the type of unit that it's asking for, and then occasionally you have to repel a Zerg attack on the base. Yeah, I think I get just about the gist of this early mission.
Well, you call this an early mission, but we are transitioning into the mid-game officially because Nova Covert Ops is 9 missions long, and the reason why it's exactly 9 missions long is because it was technically released as 3 different chapters, but all 3 chapters are 3 missions apiece.
Got it.
Jeez.
This is a horrendously shorter campaign than it should be, to be perfectly honest. And because of that, there are specific plot points that come up and don't get resolved, which leads the future of Starcraft in a very questionable space.
I mean, honestly, now that you mention it, it does explain like why Nova is so powerful. I mean, but that does lead me to a question on the subject of her power. Is because I remember Kerrigan was effectively immortal once she became Queen of Blades because she could regenerate even if she lost all of her health. But what about Nova?
Nova actually can regenerate if you lose her. There are no missions in Covert Ops with the exception of, I think, the escape from the lab, where Nova has to survive.
Strictly business.
Gotcha.
The Grim Reaper has arrived.
Optional to have your hero unit survive. Optional to rescue the survivors.
Unfortunately, the 6 Marines that I sent out there, most of them ended up dead because I wasn't paying attention and there was a Zerg wave on the way. So
Back to school.
En route.
Back to school to prove to Nova that I'm not a fool.
Done.
okay.
Oh, for the love of God, drop a nuke on these guys.
No, I don't. The nuke is still down for another 45 seconds. I will be dropping a nuke at the end of this part. I'm not going to be abusing nukes, okay? But the ones that I do get for free, I will be using. And as annotations reminds us here, Zerg units have gained bonus attack, movement speed, and health regeneration on creep. So it's relatively important to take down the creep tuners and the Zerg doodads that are, supporting creep.
Yep, you guys just stand there and look pretty.
Orders received.
Gotta set up your extra boys.
Nuclear missile ready.
Status report.
We could use some help here.
Yeah, about that help that you requested. I'm a little, I'm distracted.
Dudes.
Armed and ready.
Drop the nukes.
Got it.
Okay, and for doing this, we not only get a bunch of medics, which are actually really nice, but also some fire bats. These guys are going to try and fail to get home.
The Defenders had schematics here too. I'll send them your way.
How interesting.
And in the next part...
In the next episode, we will continue on with enemy intelligence. Be safe, everybody.
I repeat, we have no intelligence.
Dang it, our Marines died again.